Well, hello. I want to start with a couple of questions for you. So, if someone asks you to do something, even if you don't want to do it, do you say yes? If that's you, then that's a particular boundary style that you have. It's an unhealthy boundary style, but it's a particular boundary style. If you are trying to get people to do something with you, so you want to plan something, and your friends don't want to do it, do you just reject them and do it yourself? That's a different kind of boundary style. My name is Terri Cole. I am a licensed psychotherapist, a relationship expert, and the founder of the Real Love Revolution and Boundary Bootcamp. And those of you who've been following me know that I'm talking about boundaries all the time, because right now we are diving deep into your boundaries so you can figure out how to become a boundary ninja. In this video, and at the end of this video, you're going to have a chance to go to the boundary quiz. But I'm going to talk about the different kinds. There's 6 different types of, they're really unhealthy boundary styles. So let's just say if you are out of balance, you may be exhibiting one of these 6 boundary styles. So let's start with the first boundary style. And I'm just going to describe this person, and it may be you, and you may be identified with that, but don't worry. And there'll be a link in the notes to this so that you can go take the quiz yourself. You don't have to trust me, but I want to go over the different kinds. In last week's video, I talked about your downloaded boundary blueprint from childhood, and basically helping you to understand how your boundary style, the things that you struggle with, the things that you're not good at, how that came to be. So that was in last week's video. So if you haven't seen that, it would actually be really good to see that before getting into this video. I mean, you don't have to, but it would be helpful. So once you got hopefully if you did last week's and you actually filled out the questions that I gave you, you have a more clear vision of why you are the way you are in respect to your boundaries, the things that you struggle with, your idea of how close you want someone to stand to you, or what feels invasive to you and what doesn't feel invasive to you, whether you lend clothes or money or your car to someone or not. Those are all boundary choices that you have to make. But much of the foundation of the way that we handle boundaries is something that was downloaded in our childhood home, because it's what we witnessed, and it's the way that the tribe we were raised in, the community, the culture, even the country, can impact what we think is right or what we have the capability of doing. So today, I want to turn you on to the different types of boundaries. So the 6 types, so let's just take it from the top. When these boundaries are out of whack with the first type, and I named her the Ice Queen, people would describe her as stubborn, unavailable, closed off, not spontaneous, which is very specific and distinct, uncompromising, unchangeable, maybe tough. So with this personality, it's when someone who is employing this type of dysfunctional boundary system, because it's too much, it's too rigid, that's why it's dysfunctional, it's really her way or the highway. And if you don't want to go along with her, like I said at the top of this, she'll go it alone. She doesn't care. She's not shy about letting people know basically where she stands on something, and she's also not open to discussing. Like if you don't agree with her, she's not open to discussing. She's distrustful and she's easily offended, but she's probably more likely to cut you out of her life than she is to tell you that she's upset about something. So that's the first unhealthy boundary style. We call her the Ice Queen. The next is the pushover. And I know that many of you have written into me, and I feel like many of you are very identified with this style. So when boundaries are out of balance, right, people may describe the pushover as nice, like so nice, too open, not assertive, overly accommodating, right? If you twist yourself up in a pretzel so other people's lives flow with ease and grace and everyone else gets what they need, then this is probably the boundary style that you are employing. And you can also, if you have this boundary style, you can feel very invisible. And although you may be aware of how you feel and what you want, It's like you just can't say it in the moment, right? And this can leave you feeling hurt and resentful. So that's the pushover. The third one is the loner. So when boundaries are out of whack with this person, and if this is you, people might describe you as unreachable, distant, disconnected, cold, absent, unreliable, aloof, right? So much of the time people will experience someone as being like bitchy, but it's really just a self-protection type of a thing. If this is you, you don't share your emotional or physical self easily with others in a deep way. And really, who you really are will most likely remain a mystery to the people closest to you for the rest of your life because you're so self-protective and elusive. This is a way, keeping yourself sort of distant from people is a way to protect yourself. Okay, so is that you? Are you identifying with these so far? And listen, you don't only have to have one, right? All of us, you will definitely, my guess is that you will identify with one of these more than others. And yet, of course, you can have elements of the others as well. So the third style is the chameleon. So this is when boundaries are out of whack. People would describe the chameleon as codependent, enmeshed, having no opinion of your own, a weak identity, being too close, and super influenced by your partner, family, or friends. So kind of taking on their likes or their dislikes. So that is the description, is taking on the likes and dislikes and opinions of your partner, family, or friends, right? And that your self-esteem is really contingent upon your relationships and being with people and being accepted by them. You are defined more by your relationships than you are by your own individuality if you are using the chameleon unhealthy boundary style. So, and if you listen, again, all of us do some of these things to a degree, but the question is how much and how damaging is it for you to do it, right? For yourself. So much of the time, why these are dysfunctional is because you're abandoning yourself in the process. Someone with the chameleon style would be better off to learn who they are, take the time to do that deep dive rather than trying to take on what other people think. But the reason I'm sharing this with you guys is because I want you to be aware. Like, you may not even know that what you're doing is a dysfunctional boundary style, right? So I want you to be aware, because then eventually we'll get to how can you get more in balance? How can it be healthier? So the next one is the powerhouse. So when the boundaries are out of whack for this person, they would be described as forceful, bossy, invasive, rude, self-centered, pushy, intrusive. So none of those sound great, but that's what it is. And the truth is, with this boundary style and personality, you can be very charismatic as you're sort of cramming your agenda through, right? Getting your way no matter what, regardless of how other people feel. You don't care. You're like, this is what I want. You also can act oblivious that other people are uncomfortable or that they're feeling resentment. You may sit too close to people, talk too loud, or give unsolicited advice or criticism. So that is the powerhouse. And a lot of controlling women I know, I mean, I hate to say that if I'm out of balance, maybe I'm more that than the others. Who knows? Maybe the peacekeeper too. That's the next one. So let's move on to the peacekeeper, which is the next one. When boundaries are out of balance, people would describe you, if you're the peacekeeper, as highly sensitive, an empath, fearful, sort of hyper-vigilant about your surroundings, conflict averse, right? You don't like conflict, over-functioning, and hyper-receptive. So very, very sensitive to what's going on around you. And this also means that you have the disease to please, right? To please others, that is. So again, there's an abandonment of yourself in this, which really leaves you little time or space, if this is you, to authentically know what you really want and who you really are, right? Your main goal, if this is you, is to not have there be conflict. That's your main goal in life. And there's lots of people who can't stand conflict. But again, it's at the expense of self. So why is it important that you know these things about yourself? Why is it important? Why am I doing a whole month? Why am I doing, a masterclass on this on September 8th? Why? Because you being able to draw healthy boundaries in your life, you being able to, with ease and grace, tell people what is okay with you and what is not okay with you, will change your entire life. You will be free of resentment. I'm not saying you'll never be sad or you'll never get angry, but not drawing boundaries creates this well of resentment that is so deep, that goes so long, that people holding on to resentments from like 5 years ago. Yeah, that was like September 2008 when if you learn to draw appropriate boundaries, if you learn to tell the truth about how you feel, make a simple request about what you'd like, you are not going to be bitching about what someone did in 2008, because you will handle it. You will handle it in the moment, and it won't seem impossible, and it won't seem like a huge deal, and you won't be having a nervous breakdown while you do it. You can do this. I can teach you. You can learn. So, for the ladies in the crew, I would love for you to go to terricole.com/boundary bootcamp. That will have you get involved with everything that I'm doing for this month, these next couple of weeks of this Boundary Bootcamp Challenge month. That will sign you up for the challenge itself, which is September 1st through the 7th. And that will also reserve you a seat in my master class, which is Boundary Master Class, which is on September 8th, 2017. So I would love for you to do that. That's what I want you to do. I hope that this was helpful. You will be able to download this list so that you can see what's what and see where you find yourself in this list. And then as we continue on, don't worry, it's not going to be like a unhealthy boundary cliffhanger. As we keep this conversation going, I'm going to give whichever one you fell into, specific skills, tools, ideas about how you can be in more balance. What is it that you need to work on? But we had to do last week's episode because you have to understand why you are the way you are before we can build a new way of you doing it. So I really hope that you found this valuable. I hope that all of these videos are helping you. I hope you have an amazing week. Please make sure that you sign up. terricole.com/boundary bootcamp. And please download this little cheat sheet about the unhealthy boundary styles so that you can learn to be healthy. I hope you have an amazing week. And as always, take care of you.